So welcome everybody. This is Meet Me in the Word, and it's a little different today. Usually you're tuning in for your daily devotion or your quiet time with Jesus, but we have a chance to talk not just about how we look at the Word and interact with it that way, but the effect it can have on us as people just living life. And I have the privilege of having Muriel Rose join me to talk about a bunch of different things today. We'll talk about her book and about her story and perhaps whatever else comes into our hearts and minds along the way. And so, Muriel, would you please just go ahead and introduce yourself for our listeners?
Yes, good day. My name is Muriel. I'm speaking to you from London, England, and I am an author, empowerment mentor for women, and I'm a speaker. So I'm just here to talk about my book, Finding a New Me, and the experiences I went through and how I came up with that name,
Yeah, that's
the
really
name of
cool.
the book.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
So why don't we go ahead and start with just talking about your book, which is called Finding the New Me. And the tagline on there, I think, is great too: empowered to live life on your terms. And you do have a really interesting story about how you came to that particular title. Would you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, I had a challenging childhood life in Africa. I was born in London. We left here, England when I was two with my parents, and I was two at the time. Then we went to Africa, Sierra Leone, and I did not realize I was left-handed until the people around me brought to my attention that I'm left-handed. That's about the age of 6 to 7. And I was kind of discriminated upon because I'm left-handed. I was pulled away. They tried to get me to use my right hand. And it's, of course, it's impossible to use your right hand if you're born left-handed because everything is designed on your left. And I could not read, I could not write. My mom put all the pressure upon me. Family, we used to live in a big family home. That's put pressure on me. Everybody's trying to get me to use my right hand. And in school, my mom will get the teachers, instruct them to discourage me from using my left hand to write. So that was so difficult. I went through that pain and torment, being discriminated upon, called names, which you name it, all sorts. It's all triggered from my mom. She's the one who instigates everything, the one who's supposed to support me. So that was tough for me, really, really tough. But I was, when God has got a plan for you, nobody could disturb it. And at the age of 19, I returned back to England. That's when my mom got me to come back to England. When I arrived in England, I could not read. I could not write. Obviously, I knew there's a book. I knew, but I don't know how to read it. I don't know what's in there. And it was challenging for me. Can you imagine at the age of 19? I was lost in a big city, which is in London. Don't know where I am, and I couldn't read to find my way around. But I struggled. But the blessings of God upon my soul, I thank God for everything. It's like God got this thing mapped for me. Then I joined adult education because then I was a cleaner. In the evenings after work, I would go and do evening school. They used to call it evening studies at the time for adults. There I learned to read and write, and I was encouraged to use my left hand. Wow, the whole world just opened up for me. I went further on to my education to go to college. Even though I was still a cleaner, I was doing everything. I was so determined to be the person that was in my spirit to become, which I never knew. I never knew. I always tell people I want to become a writer. I will write a book one day. They were laughing. The ones around me, family, friends, and close people around me would find it funny because nobody think that way. But it was in my spirit. And then I had a tough time with the marriage I was in. Got married to a narcissist person, which I never knew for 40 years, all that time. I moved away from London after I got divorced. I moved away from London to a country village called Dorset, which is beautiful. But it was not for the color of my skin because there aren't any black people there. But it was beautiful. But what did God did for me was to change my mindset while I was there. Even though I was missing home, which is London and my community, but then I begin to learn how to live differently from the anger and the torment I went through from childhood and my marriage. It was all messy. Then I found a church, local church, had mixed with people, community. Then I said, now is the time for me to write this book. I don't have any more distraction anymore, like from the family and things and husband. And as I was praying, it came to my spirit. The book should be Finding the New Me. Wow. I thought, that's a good title of the book from where I am now. Then I wrote the first book in 6 months, and but it was all about trauma. I was talking about my childhood days, what happened, what I went through that was really challenging. And it was all traumatized of my events I went through. So then I wrote the second book, which is Finding the New Me, the same title, Finding the New Me. This second book is an empowerment book. The steps I went through to become the person I am, the challenges I went through, and it's an empowerment book. It's just to get you forward. Every page in the book is inspiring. And that's what got me to the second book, Finding a New Me. And I'm just so grateful God put that into my spirit. And while I was writing that second book, which was much easier when I was working with the publishers as well, I was reading Ezekiel 37, dry bone areas. I was praying to God that every dry bone areas in my life should have life, which is the anger I was feeling, the depression, the sadness, the loss, and everything. Because then I've already returned back to London when I was writing the second book. I was blessed to come back to London, writing the second book. And it's incredible how the Holy Spirit can work through us when we use the scriptures in our projects. And it becomes so much easier. And I think in less than 6 months as well, I wrote the second book together with my publishing company. So I want to explain to people, I want to let people know that whatever you do, you put God first. It works magic. Even when you're sending your text messages, when you email, you put God first. You ask the anointing of God to be upon that message, positive or negative, and hand it over to the Lord. So I'm really, really grateful to be able to write that second book. And there are a lot of challenges I went through, but I overcame them all. And it's all in that second book where I was paralyzed from the waist downwards. But using the prayer and God, I was able to walk again without an aid. Even the doctor said it's going to take me longer time to walk. No, with the blessing of God, I walk again. Lying in the hospital bed, I was saying to God, I said, God, if you can give me one more chance to walk again, wear my dancing shoes, I promise you, I'll do things that I've never ever done before. And you will guide me through. And I went traveling the world. I did so many things solo on my own. And I'm just so grateful to be using God in everything I do.
Yeah.
That's a challenge. It's a challenge, but it's good. Using God. It's
Amen.
easier.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. And then here, just for our viewers. Oh, yeah, there we go. This is what the cover of the book looks like. I have it on my Kindle on my iPad, and I have read your book and found it to be encouraging to me along the way. And one of the things I've come to appreciate about you, Muriel, is the there are a lot of things that happened in your life, and from I mean, you just talked about a few of them, even in what you were just saying, like growing up left-handed and the discrimination you felt as a result of that, being in a narcissistic marriage, and the challenges that came from that, as well as from your childhood, and then going through physical things, and the list kind of goes on. That's there, and yet we see that God really did do that. That dry bones come to life like miracle, right, in you. That those things that were once dead have been changed and transformed. And I think that's a really it's cool. It's neat to hear your story as you've interacted with faith and all of that. I'm just grabbing a few more of my notes here as we keep going. Um, I was going to ask you sort of what prompted you to write this book in particular, but you kind of already talked about that a little bit. But was there, I guess maybe I'll ask it this way. Was there a moment where you went, I do need to write the second book? Like you talked about writing the first and that it was maybe more trauma filled, but obviously something stirred you to write again and to change the tone of it. Was there a moment for you, or was it just kind of a steadier realization that the second book needed to be written?
It's a steady realization the second book needs to be written because I want to bring the awareness of left-handed people, how they discriminated. I know in the West, like in London and America and other places, they don't have that discrimination. It's nothing, it's not a big deal. But I've been traveling to Ghana, which is West Africa. I'm not from there, but I do visit Ghana. And I see how I get treated as an adult. Even this age, even last year, I was there up to last year, and how the vendors in the market would not want to accept money, currency in my hand, because they don't use cards so much, currency in my hand with my left hand. I have to quickly switch to my right. Even when I'm eating, I have to try and eat with my right hand, which I've learned to do now. They made me conscious and aware. Then I thought, if I'm an adult and foreigner, going through this, what about the children who are born left-handed? And I got in touch with a lady in a community that works with children. And she said, this is a big taboo. Nobody speaks about it. So we had an interview about that and brought the awareness about left-handed children and adults as well. They got discriminated upon because they use the left hand. So it's still a big problem in Africa. I don't know if everywhere in Africa, but West Africa, I can say for West Africa because the only place I've been. But I've been to Fiji, where I've been doing volunteer work there. I watched the children use their left-handed freely. No interruption, no disruption. They're not even aware whether they're left-handed or right-handed because they were just doing the same as everybody else. But me as a left-handed being on the outside assisting, I thought, oh my God, I only wish I had this opportunity like these children. The reason why they are so privileged is because they got the influence of New Zealand and Australia. So they got a lot of people who work in it. So because it's not such a big thing in Australia and New Zealand, it's normal for them. I thought, what a privilege. What a blessing for these kids to be left to be used, left-handed freely without any insecurity around them. So that's why I decided to write this book and bring the awareness of the left-handed. And I want to encourage people, because I had a condition that causes all the and later realized that my nervous system packed up because of the environment where I was. I couldn't walk, but I want to show people how I'm able to use the power of my mind and my spirit, my faith, to be able to walk again and defy all the odds. The doctor got their own job to do. I've got my own job to do, which is to pray and ask God sincerely to help me, to give me back my mobility. So the doctors, what they were saying, I was just saying, God forbid. God forbid. They're giving me all these kind of negative reports and, others, God forbid. I'm praying in my spirit, God forbid. Once the doctors have left the ward, I closed the curtain and I started praying. I started asking God for help. I need you. I'm not going to take any notice of what they're saying because they're doing their job. They're in the medical field. I'm with you, the Holy Spirit. I need you. So I've been praying and praying. So I want to show people that you can use the power of your mind and your faith and overcome any illness. Of course, you're going to work together with the doctors and the medical team, which I did. So to be able to walk again, I need physiotherapy. So I got people to help me, to teach me how to walk again like a baby. It's in the book. So so many things I want to bring the awareness of how you can use your mind to do things. And it's such a blessing that I'm in a blessed country where I'm not working for so long because of the medical issues and then my divorce. But I use the money the government gave me to self-publish my book. How I did it, I will show people that you can manage using God to help you to just get favors and information that you need. And I was able to write a second book with not working. It's only now I want to start working again. So I just say, God, I want to show people that you can do something. Don't just give up because you're not working and think that's the end. No, you pray about it, you ask God to open the way for you, to provide for you, to show you, and bring people who can help you. If you're in a position where I'm in a position in England where we can go and ask for help, seek information, it's not just there for you to see, but when you ask, it should be given, as it says in the Bible. You ask for information, you get people who can direct you. See, this is
Yeah.
why I want to use all of this to help people that I self-published my books, both books. I
Yeah.
couldn't get sponsorship because I'm not any big name.
Yeah, of course. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. I self-published as well a collection of poetry, and like that's a blessing that we get to do that in this day and age where we can manage it on our own when we need to. One of the things that permeates your story is a sense that despite some difficult circumstances throughout your life, you've realized that you don't need to just remain in that station or in that place, that you in the power of God, and like you have talked about, like you make a choice, right? You make a choice with your mind, but also with your faith to move forward. Have there been any scriptures that have been influential for you in your journey?
Oh yes, as I said, I don't know the word for it, but seek and you should find,
Mm-hmm.
ask and it should be given,
Yep.
call upon me. I held on to that word so much. Jeremiah 33, verse 3. Call upon me and I will answer you. I will tell you great and marvelous things that you know nothing about. I held on to the scriptures. Boy, it works because I'll be sitting just thinking, oh, how would I do this? What would I do? Then an idea will come to me and I'll start doing my research. Little did I know I will get to my destination because why? I ask. I ask God to help me
For
download
sure.
information. Download information that I need. Right now, I'm talking to you without any script because I ask God to speak through me. Everything I do, if I go into a place and say, let me wear favor like a garment, blessings like a garment. When people see me, they're willing to help me. Let me be humble with it because it's not me, it's God who is helping me. Humility is very important because I know a lot of people find their way, they did so many things, they think it's them. It's not them, it's God. And they lose everything. The reason why they did not put God in front of everything they do. So those examples, I watch them in my life. I think, wow, you put God first in everything you do. Ask God, you find information,
There you go.
and you make your way.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you something else. If you had a chance to go and speak to yourself when you were a child and you were going through the difficulties with being left-handed, and I know there were some challenges with your mom, what would you say to her if that were, we know it's not possible, but if you could go back and just say something to her, some counsel, some advice, some encouragement, what would that be?
Thank you for not giving up.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank
That's
you for
good.
not giving up and holding on to your word.
Mm-hmm.
Those days when you are isolated and put in the backyard, you were praying and asking God to help, you never gave up.
Huh.
Watching the plane go by, you think, I'll be on the plane one day. It happens.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. What advice would you give maybe other women who are listening to this that might be in a similar kind of a situation, either in their marriage or just facing adversity of whatever kind that might be? Do you have anything that you would just want to say to them? I know it's kind of general, but was there anything that any advice that you would offer to somebody in a difficult marriage or in a difficult health situation?
The one advice I could give them, if you're a Christian, hold on to your God.
Yeah.
The prayers and the scriptures go together. Try not to complain too much. I did a lot of complaining and it caused me a lot of problems. People ran away. God will never run away from you. Ask God to help you. Whatever situation you go in at the moment, you say, God, it will soon pass. Thank you so much for loving me. I love you, Lord. You coax yourself and it will pass. Just
Hmm.
hold on to your church. If you go to church community, hold on to them. After church, we do have tea and coffee. I look forward to that to hang out with my church members, just catch up on things. It takes my mind away from things, from whatever situation I'm going through. So whatever I could say, you're a Christian because it's a Christian podcast we're doing. Hold on to your God. Ask God to help you. Ask God to speak to you through the scriptures. They will come to you. A pastor must say it. Ooh, I love that. I'm going to hold on to that now and let that be your daily prayers. And then go through the scriptures, learn. It took me ages to go through the scriptures, to learn the scriptures. No, I don't know them word for word, but to get used to reading the scriptures together with my prayers. Because last year I was going through depression and in and out of hospital. Don't know what because I was confused. I was all over the place. And a friend said to me, you know what I can say to you? The only thing I can give you, read your scriptures together with prayers. All this depression will go. I thought it was a joke. Oh my goodness. In no time. I can't even remember the last time I went to the doctors or anything about that kind of subject. That even when I have my ups and downs, I know where I can run to the scriptures and I
Yep.
start praying.
Yep.
So that's all I can say to them. You hold on to your God. Hold on to your God. You
Yeah.
never let you down.
Yeah, that's good. That's good for all of us, not just for the women who are listening.
Mm.
Hang on to the Lord, and that's always a wise choice for us to make. Where can people find you if somebody wanted to connect with you? Where can they find your book? And we will put a link to your book in the show's description, when this comes out. But how can they connect with you?
The back of my book has got so you can find me on Instagram
Okay,
and on Facebook. It's Muriel Rose Mentor.
okay, and that's the
Yes,
same handle on Instagram and Facebook.
yes, that's right. Yeah,
Okay,
Muriel Rose Mentor.
yep,
Both or Muriel Rose. It's
okay.
easy. I just make it so easy that anybody can find me there. Yes,
I
and
love
even if
that.
you find it in me, you can give them the connection as well. The Google that.
Yeah, awesome. Is there anything else that you wanted to make sure that we got to talk about today before we conclude our time together?
No, it was lovely having the time to talk about my book and connecting with your audience. And I'm just so pleased to be doing that and bringing the awareness
Absolutely.
of the left-handed, and if anything go wrong, how you can hold on to your God. Use the power from within. We've all got to dig out for it to come up. It's to come up. Ask God to give you the power from within.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Muriel, for your time and just for the work that you're doing. It's an encouragement. And yeah, everybody, please go ahead and look in the show's description to find ways to get her book or just to connect with her in other ways. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tim. Thank you. It's a blessing and an honor. Thank you.